5 rules for a successful life. In a dimly lit cafe tucked away in a quiet corner of the world, an elderly man leaned over the table, his hands trembling slightly as he handed me an old, tattered notebook. The ink was faded, but his words were not. He leaned in closer, his eyes scanning the room as if to ensure no one could hear, before he whispered, "These are the 5 rules they'll never tell you about living a successful life. Most people spend their entire lives searching for them, but here's the thing. You're not supposed to find them. You're supposed to earn them." His words hung in the air as I turned the first page of the notebook. Every rule was written like a riddle, cryptic, unnerving, yet undeniably powerful. But something wasn't right. The more I read, the more I began to realize these rules weren't just about success. They were about survival. And right then, something deep inside me shifted. You see, success is never as simple as it's made out to be. You can chase it all your life, but unless you understand these 5 rules, well, let's just say the world will make sure you learn them the hard way. So let me take you through each of them. But fair warning, what you're about to hear might change everything you thought you knew about success, because it's not what anyone expects, and definitely not what anyone prepares you for. The cafe was quiet now, with only the sound of soft rain tapping on the window and the occasional clink of a spoon against a cup. I was alone, staring at the notebook in front of me, still unable to fully comprehend the gravity of what had just been said. How could something so simple, so ancient, hold the key to success? I shifted in my seat, feeling a strange sense of unease. It was as if the world outside the cafe had faded away, leaving only me and the words on this page. I could feel a pull deep inside me, something that told me I was on the edge of a revelation I hadn't even realized I needed. My fingers ran over the pages, and that's when it hit me. Every rule wasn't just about how to become successful. It was about how to endure in a world that doesn't care whether you make it or not. The first rule was so simple, yet it carried an intensity that I couldn't ignore. It was a simple phrase, "The world owes you nothing." At first, it seemed almost too obvious, almost too harsh to be true. But then something in me bristled. I had heard it 100 times before, but never quite like this. It wasn't about a philosophical rant or some vague notion of personal responsibility. It was raw. It was personal. The old man's voice echoed in my mind. The world owes you nothing. Not your family, not your friends, not the system. You're alone in this. And that's not a bad thing. I paused, staring out the window at the rain-soaked street, watching people rush by. They were all in a hurry, oblivious to the small, silent moments unfolding right before their eyes. And I wondered, how many of them were living their lives under the illusion that someone owed them something? As I thought about it, something inside me clicked. We are all taught from the moment we're born that the world will give us something, that our parents, our teachers, or our friends will provide us with answers. But what if the real lesson is in learning to stand on our own 2 feet, without waiting for anyone to hand us success on a silver platter? The world, it turns out, doesn't care. It's a cruel, indifferent place. But that indifference, it's what can make you unstoppable if you choose to embrace it. I turned to the second rule, and just as I expected, it hit me harder than the first. The second rule was about pain. The kind of pain that we try so hard to avoid, the kind that changes us, molds us, and often breaks us in ways we never imagined. The pain will come, the man had written, and you will have no choice but to endure it. It might feel like it's breaking you, but in reality it's shaping you into something the world doesn't even know it needs. The rain outside started to fall harder, a distant rumble of thunder echoing in the background. I took a slow, deep breath, contemplating the meaning of that rule. Pain. It's something no one wants, yet it's often the thing that forces us to evolve. I thought back to moments in my life when I had been crushed by the weight of failure, when I felt like I had nothing left to give. I had always thought those moments were the end of something, the end of my dream, the end of my hope, the end of my ambition. But now, sitting in the quiet cafe, I realized something profound. Pain isn't the enemy. Pain is the sculptor, shaping us into who we are supposed to be. And what's worse, we often try to outrun it, hoping it will just disappear. But the truth is, pain is the price of living a life worth living. It's what makes success taste so sweet when you finally get there. By now, I was deeply lost in the pages of the notebook. Every rule had an undeniable pull, but I was beginning to understand something bigger than the rules themselves. These lessons weren't just about success. They were about the internal battles we all face in our pursuit of meaning. The third rule was written in bold letters. Success is an illusion, a short phrase, but the weight of it hung heavy in the air. I could feel my heartbeat quicken as I read those words over and over. Success is an illusion? How could something so central to our lives be an illusion? I looked up the cafe, the people walking by, the sounds of distant laughter, and the clinking of cups. Everyone around me was chasing something, a promotion, a partner, a life that looked better than the next person's. And I began to understand the world had created this false narrative of success that we all blindly follow. It's not the money, the fame, or the power that makes a life successful. Those are just distractions, illusions designed to keep us chasing something that can never be fully grasped. The real success lies in understanding that life is a journey, not a destination. The key isn't what you accumulate, it's who you become in the process. The fourth rule hit me like a punch in the gut. You must learn to let go. Letting go. It was simple, yet the hardest thing anyone could ever do. I didn't want to believe it. The idea of letting go of everything I had worked for, everything I had built, seemed impossible. But as I continued reading, it became clear. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means releasing the need to control outcomes. It means surrendering the idea that you can force things to happen on your terms. I thought about my own life, the times I had held on to things that weren't meant for me, relationships, dreams, even ideas about myself. And when I finally let go, I realized the freedom that came with it. In the end, the only thing you can truly control is how you respond to the world. And sometimes that means stepping back and allowing life to unfold in its own way. Finally, I reached the last rule. True success is found in service. It wasn't about what you take from the world. It was about what you give to it. At first, I couldn't quite wrap my mind around it. The idea that success was found in giving, not receiving, felt so foreign. But then it hit me like a wave of clarity. When you serve others, whether it's through your work, your relationships, or your actions, you find purpose, you find meaning. And most importantly, you find fulfillment that no amount of money or fame could ever provide. Success is not about selfish ambition. It's about living in a way that leaves a mark on the world, something lasting, something greater than yourself. As I closed the notebook, the rain outside had stopped. The world felt quieter now, and the cafe seemed like a different place. I had learned something. No, I had uncovered something that most people never realize until it's too late. Success isn't about the rules the world teaches us. It's about the ones we uncover for ourselves through experience, pain, and reflection. And the real success? It's the moment when you finally realize you were never meant to chase it in the first place. What is the one thing you're still holding on to that's keeping you from success? Tell me in the comments. Let's see if we're ready to let go together. And if you think someone needs to hear this, share it with them. The world has more to teach than we ever thought. Like and subscribe for more stories that will change how you view life, success, and everything in between. You never know, the next story might just change your entire perspective.